this might sting a little. Um, you can be profitable and you can still fill prop firm challenges. And this is why this might keep happening, right? So if this feels uncomfortably specific, it's very intentional. I do trade full time. My name is Sam, and I help other traders mostly pass prop firm challenges, right? And I've watched profitable traders actually collapse here when they attempt to use prop firms as tools with their own accounts combined to actually grow them, right? But let me explain things that I don't really hear a whole lot of people talking about, right? Because the failure itself isn't actually random. So profitability in trading doesn't really equal readiness for a prop firm challenge, right? So prop firms themselves, they reward constraint as well as a bit of profitability, right? You need to have a profitable strategy, of course, right? But profitable on personal accounts themselves, you can have the same exact edge, but the environment itself, it's going to be a bit different. The rules themselves suddenly feel tight. If you've taken any prop firm challenge before, you can understand what I'm talking about. If you've never taken a prop firm challenge before and you're watching this, give yourself a pat on the back. You are exploring the concept of readiness, and prop firms can potentially be a very useful tool to augment your trading routine, but you need to do it in a specific way, right? But I had someone contact me. I was just working with him, and he had consistently green months, and they would be for like 8-9 months out of the year. He would be in profit. His strategy was solid. His mindset was solid too, right? But he failed, I think, 2 or 3 prop firm challenges, like straight back to back, right? So your profitability itself, it's going to measure your edge and a handful of other things. Of course, you have to get your mindset down right as well. But challenges themselves, they're going to measure your obedience and adherence to certain rules and risk exposure, right? So a part where I think sometimes people will get blindsided, even if you do realize this, right, is there's an invisible shift that I think can kind of break traders a little bit, right? So you start trading the rules, but not the actual price of what's going on, right? So you might end up watching your drawdown in your challenge account more than you watch an actual market when you're placing your trades, right? And you're avoiding losses instead of your setups, right? And you can have some very valid entries. You have a preoccupation with things that you shouldn't be actually looking at, and even you're going to force yourself into other things you should be avoiding in the first place, like revenge trading or trying to force a trade to happen after back-to-back red days, right? And I don't really think that this is stupidity. In fact, it's a very realistic human behavior to have, right? It's a human survival instinct almost in its sense, right? But you can have the same max loss days, same emotional spirals, and then there's so many I almost pass stories. If you don't almost do anything, it didn't actually happen, right? So here's what I think the real problem is, and if you like with help with any of these problems, I have a link to my free trading newsletter in the comment section down below. I put out a free trade idea every single week, and then I help people actually get payouts, and then you can reach me anytime you want. I'm normally pretty quick with getting back to emails, and I promise not to spam you. I don't like being spammed either, but I send out 1 email a week, and that's about it. But why I think, even if you have everything else down at this point, why I think the profitable traders implode on themselves the quickest is because they trust their own discretion, where I don't really think that any should be afforded or allowed in the first place. So they're used to very flexible risk. You don't really have any drawdown. It's by your own discretion. And they're used to having those recovery trades that actually do make a comeback, and then they justify some of your losses, right? And you can be mid session in a trade, and then they're used to adapting to some of those as well, right? Challenges, they really forbid all of that themselves, and discretion itself is almost like a liability here. So my first funded attempt, I traded it almost like it was my own account. I passed my first prop firm challenge, 100% win rate, by the way, in about 2 weeks. I was almost surprised with it in itself. There were a few break-even trades, right? But it was still pretty solid. But How do you get there? How do you do that? And how do you fix any of the other things that you're really experiencing? Right? Is you need to learn how to trade challenges a little bit more correctly. So you have just one setup, you have one session only, and you have a very fixed risk. There's no scaling involved. Not before you even pass your challenge, anyways. Maybe when you're in a live funded account, you can get there, right? Your daily loss ends the day, right? And you need to keep in mind that the boring days that occur are going to be your winning days that will end up happening. Flat days, if you have a flat day, that's actually progress. If you came and looked at the markets and you didn't see anything and you didn't make a trade, that's fucking discipline, and that's something that you need to have with these trading challenges, right? But the survival of you being able to continue trading is going to beat brilliance and a whole lot of other things, to be honest, right? So can you stop trading early? Ask yourself this question, right? A whole lot of traders cannot stop this at all, which I think brings to one of the hardest truths in this whole concept, right? Is, are you actually ready for something like this in the first place? Because readiness is going to show up emotionally. Lost days themselves, normally they won't change your behavior. The rules are going to feel like they're non-negotiable, right? You're not going to feel an urge to have to prove anything. I still have losing days. Hell, I even lost one of my accounts because I didn't trade for an entire week. But you need to read down on some of these rules. Most of the prop firms I trade with now, after realizing this, they'll have an entire 30 days where you don't need to put in a trade every single week. And normally that's what I advocate for, right? But the process itself, it's going to feel automatic for you. You don't really need to think about anything, right? So, if your account just vanished tomorrow, do you think that your execution would really stay identical? So if you need help, again, with your trading or anything else in general, or making this mechanical to the point to where almost I have an AI system in place that I think will be able to help you out. If you want to get it, go ahead and check out the comment section down below. It's free to join. It'll be free forever. You really got nothing to lose, so go ahead and check it out, right? But if this hit home, I really would appreciate if you guys smash the like button. And it's kind of showing me that this all makes sense and that I actually am helping people and that I'm solving legitimate problems, right? If you want real help, please don't feel afraid to go ahead and reach out to me. I actually do enjoy hearing from most of you guys. A couple of you are, to be honest, a little bit whack, but it's the internet. This kind of shit happens, okay? But profitability itself, I don't think it's the finish line. If you have mastery of constraint and in yourself, that's really the finish line with trading. I don't really think I'm there yet. I'll get there eventually too. But prop firms, they're not going to test your talent out either. They're really just going to test your discipline when you're under pressure and rule constraint. So fix that, and passing these is going to be inevitable at that point.